Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to Sensus Fidelium with me, Steve, here at 10:33 p.m., July the 10th, 2026. Feast of the seven brothers of Saint Felicitas and her seven sons, which I know nobody cares. If you look on Twitter, I think I'm the only one that's posted anything about these saints of the days. You see all these other guys, it's all about the ugly, bad, and hideous. The good, true, and beautiful doesn't get a lot of clicks. You all know that. Anyways, yeah, it's just one of those things. Anyway, good. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. Sometimes it gets frustrating. It just is. You post a video up, it takes you all day to get these things edited, and you see like 500 people doing it. You're like, why bother? Sometimes it's like, really, I should just get into doing what everyone else does. Gripe about the Vatican. It's a great. You end up getting $1 million income from that. Anyway, Mark, I know you care. There are some. I'm frustrated sometimes. So let's get into the clown news. Anyways, the White House posts out today, Daddy is home, baby. It's kind of funny, the video in the back with him crying. But yeah, they literally say Daddy's home. That's them, not one of the cheerleaders putting it out. Trump put out Daddy's home. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Oh, I just started thinking about. You remember me? I put that Bishop Aaron thing video. I clipped that out, put it up as a standalone. Man, there's a lot of haters out there for that. A priest actually wrote me on the topic because they just got done watching the Matt Walsh video on the Civil War and wrote me going, I'll put it in a little condensed version. I thought you were nuts. I'm sorry. You were right. I can't believe this. And holy cow. He just said wow at the end. And I'm going, yeah. So yeah, we're not nuts. Other people are starting to wake up to it. Thanks be to God. And that's the main thing I keep bringing up with that and ideas is to plant seeds, hopefully, and especially the Padres' minds, so that they can start teaching this. I think if we can start teaching what actually happened and how the solutions to it, I think we could win a lot. We could get a long way out of this. You see a lot of people putting doomer videos up. It's over. The church is dying. Or this. Yeah, it sucks. Let's go, baby. That's one of those things. I love it. It sucks out there. Grab a helmet. Let's roll. I love that. I love being the underdog in this sense. It gives the challenge in it. If it wasn't, it's kind of like that line from In League of Their Own. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's not easy. It's very hard. It's very fulfilling when you see some W's. But yeah, it was fun to see the priest text me up and say that, going, yeah, thank you, finally. And I did take outside videos for him to figure it out. Fine, whatever means. And so I told him to say, hey, I'll blow your mind even more. I said, would you believe? I told him, would you believe that the modern day Santa Claus is a product of the 1848, the 48ers? It's a product of Thomas Nast, who's the anti-Catholic cartoonist of the 1800s. It's a product of him, and he portrayed Santa as this. Well, have you ever seen that? I'll pull it up. Let me pull that up real quick. Thomas Nast cartoon Santa. He portrayed, and I sent him the. What link did I send him on that? Smithsonian. Yeah, here's the exact link I sent him. The Smithsonian magazine, because I didn't want to be biased. I didn't want to say, here's some Southern website or anything like that. Here's the Smithsonian website. Thomas Nast, legendary for political cartoons, mostly because he was anti-Catholic, but he's responsible for the Jolly Saint Nick today. No, it wasn't Mark. No, not exactly. It was not an elf. It was just like this. But you see, he's got the stars. He's got the stars. He's got the stripes, stars. He would go. This was the first welcome Santa to the Union side, because guess who was the naughty side? Southerners. because I thought it was like, check this out. He goes, yeah, no. He goes, no way. He literally wrote, no way. I go, yep, the Smithsonian website, an 1848er, communist, anti-Catholic. And he thought about the Union was the good list, and the South Confederates were the naughty list. No shame in Santa Claus. Yeah, actually the joke was on Thomas because he hated Catholics, and it ended up bringing I can't remember what blog I wrote it. I saw that from. Yeah, I put it in the Substack. I think I mentioned it in the Substack of mine that he actually gave more attention to Saint Nicholas because of this. So he kind of backfired because he really hated us. He was not a fan of Catholics at all. Distributing presents in the Union Army camp. In his hands, he holds a puppet toy with a rope around its neck. Its features are those of Confederate Jefferson Davis. See it? You see you see Jefferson Davis in the middle of it? Yeah. In these two drawings, Christmas became a Union holiday and Santa a Union local deity, writes Adam Gopick in the 1997 issue of the New Yorker. It gave Christmas to the North, gave to the Union cause an aura of domestic sentiment and even sentimentality. Oh, well, you're right. It's a jolly old elf. So, Mark, yeah, you're right. They mention it as an elf in the sense, yes. So, yeah, you're right. You're now. My apologies for that. Bavarian immigrant named Thomas Nast did as much as any one man to preserve the Union and bring it into the war. According to General U.S. Grant, who was one of the most corrupt administrations ever. But like so many inventors, Nast benefited from the work of his fellow visionaries in creating the round-tut, resplendent figure of Santa Claus. He was a man with the right talents and the place at a perfect time. Prior to the early 1800s, Christmas was a religious holiday, plain and simple. First tonight, Charles Dickens. See anything else? Into this world, enter Thomas Nast. He arrived in the 1850s. Again, he's a 48er from Bavaria. 63, pull slave presence. Let's see. Harper's Week came out at 33. There's a couple more of them. Merry old Santa Claus. On his back isn't a sack full of toys. It's actually an army backpack from enlisted men. He's holding a dress sword and a belt buckle to represent the army, whereas the toy horse is a callback to the Trojan horse, symbolizing the treachery of the government. A pocket watch showing the time of 10 till midnight indicates the United States Senate has little time left to give fair wages to the men of the Army and Navy. Yeah, I remember Nast is the one who gave the donkey and the elephant to Republicans. Anyways, yeah. How about that? Civil War Yankee propaganda from a 1848 revolutionary. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah, you didn't think that was you might want to dislike Santa even more. Now go celebrate St. Nicholas Day, but you're like, holy cow. Charlie Vincent, how you doing, man? Yeah, what's up? We're just talking about how propaganda with Santa Claus. Just an FYI, sensusfidelium.com is where, well, it doesn't have everything on there, but it has a lot. This is where you get the Clown Planet news and all that, is all the show notes and many more other things in there, the crisis of the church. Here's the history. I ended up putting it on a link for anybody that wants to watch it. You hear everyone say there's a crisis in the church. Here's our 18-part series, literally, on the crisis in the church with Dr. Alan Phimister. And I have everything. I had to make it all nice and pretty. Council 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Part 10, 12, 14. What is the last one? 16. We have 16 parts of all the councils ever to reside in the church. You want a PhD, a player hating degree on anyone that says crisis in the church? Only 18. Well, we put 3 councils in one. I think 2 in another one. Yeah, I think. I can't remember. I have to go back and look. But yeah, it's get your popcorn ready for that one. That's something you don't watch over a weekend either. And of course, please, I got a donate and support button. I have to push it out because the tax man cometh. You know, when you're a 501c, you have to pay this thing called payroll tax. And pretty much every time I get donations, I don't make enough to cover it a lot of times, and it's barely keeping my head over the water. In the last 2 months, really nobody's donated. I've really had nothing. I go to the post office, there's never a check. So I don't even know why I keep it going anymore. So I have a 501c, but if I don't know why, if no one donates it, I don't know why I have it. So anyways, there's go to sensefidelium.com, donate support, please. I could use the help. I see other guys getting a ton more help. We're going backwards, actually. Mark, thanks. Mark, appreciate it, man. You didn't have to, but wasn't begging for that. I was trying to get more people outside to, help out, because again, it's a struggle. In bad news, Bonnie Tyler, one of my favorite songs, legendary voice behind Total Eclipse of the Heart. By the way, if anybody knows how to do an AI version of it, I have a spoof song in the tune of that. The Turnaround, yes, an Ad Orientem music video song. If anybody knows how to AI that one, I really don't want to sing it into Total Eclipse of the Heart. Kids are back there, so I'm trying not to belt it out. Maybe I have to wait for them to leave and we'll really go to town. I don't know. Lots of fan of those videos. Amen to that. But yes, Rick Raskin and Pacha, I have no idea what a religion is. But yes, she died at 75 yesterday. Speaking of death, Venezuela earthquake update. The death toll from the devastating earthquakes in Venezuela has risen to 4,118. Yeah, that's NH. I'm shocked it's this low at that point. How incredibly fortunate. In a sense, yes. Seeing the devastation and how long it took for big machinery to get in there to remove a lot of that stuff. Indeed, 4,000 it could have been a lot worse. I was reading. You probably know I'm reading. I read like 3 books a night, one chapter of each. Keep me focused. I still got about 50 right behind me. Okay, exaggerating, maybe 20, not including up here and over there, and the 10, 12 boxes in the garage. But these ones I haven't read yet, and possibly, yeah. What was I doing? Kirkpatrick Sale's book on human scale, with a chapter on scale in politics. The opening chapter, he has quotes by different people on the different topics. So he quoted Reagan. He puts Reagan's quote from 1975. Here's the human scale speech. Yeah, 1975, right? September 26, 1975. Reagan's address to the Economic Club of Chicago. The human scale speech, it's called. To some, it was known as the human scale speech, but it was more widely known as the $90 billion speech, because the governor's call for restoring $90 billion in federal spending to the states attracted the most widespread attention. If you haven't read it, if you haven't read it before, you'll know why I'm putting it up. Jefferson believed the people were the best agents for their own destinies, and that the task of the government was not to direct the people, but to create an environment ordered I don't know what ort is. Ordered freedom, and the people could pursue their destinies in their own way. But he also knew that from the beginning, the tendency of government has been to be players as well as the umpire. What has destroyed liberty and the rights of man in every government that has existed under the sun? Jefferson asked. The generalization and concentrating all cares and powers into one body. Don't you see that going on today, huh? If Jefferson could return today, I doubt that he would be surprised either at what has happened in America or at the results. When a nation loses its desire and ability to restrain the growth or concentration of power, the floodgates are open and the results are predictable. Thousands of towns and neighborhoods have seen their peace disturbed by bureaucrats and social planners through busing, questionable education programs, attacks on the family unit. Even so liberal as observers as Richard Goodwin could identify what he called, quote, the most troubling political fact of our age, that the growth in central power has been accompanied by a swift and continual diminution in the significance of the individual citizen, transforming him from a welder into an object of authority. The truth is that people all over America have been talking about this, talking about all these problems for years. This country is bursting with ideas and creativity, but a government run by bureaucrats in Washington has no way to respond. If we send the power back to the states and localities, we'll find out how to improve education, because some districts are going to succeed with some ideas, and other districts are going to fail with others. And the word will spread like wildfire. Yes, it's the experimental units. The more we let the people decide, the more we'll find out about the policy, what policies work and what policies don't work. Successful programs and good local governments will attract bright people like magnets, because the genius of federalism, hey, there's that F word, is that people can vote with their feet. If local or state governments grow tyrannical and costly, the people will move. If the federal government is the villain, there is no escape. The first time I read this going, I'm surprised I haven't read this before. I am calling for the end to giantism. Now I know where that came from when Bill Kaufman writes about it. And for a return to the human scale. The scale that human beings can understand and cope with. Now, again, Reagan ended up not doing any of this when he was governor, because that's why they had George Bush, Pappy Bush, as his VP to make sure he didn't do this. The scale of the local fraternal lodge, the church congregation, the book club, the farm bureau. It is the locally owned factory, the small businessman who personally deals with his customers and stands behind his product, the farm and consumer cooperative, the town or neighborhood bank that invests in the community, the union local. In government, the human scale is the town council, the board of selectmen, and the precinct captain. It is this activity on a small human scale that creates the fabric of community, a framework for the creation of abundance and liberty. The human scale nurtures standards of right behavior, a prevailing ethic of what is right and what is wrong, acceptable and unacceptable. Great googly moogly. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that bravo? Yeah. Can I get an amen, brother? Again, how many times you've heard me say that? How many times you heard McClanahan say that? Many other guys have said this. This was 1975. I just read this for the first time in my life. How did I not know about that? I mean, he calls the end of giantism for a return to human scale. Again, scale. I was talking about a week. Our power. Reason why I'm behind on a lot of things is our power went out here over about 10 drops of rain, as my neighbor said it. There was a thunderstorm in Gastonia, and somehow the power went off here. Don't ask. We had hurricanes before, massive ice storms. Times that my wife would say, we're going to lose power. And I tell her that we're not losing power over this. There's nothing's good. We're not losing power ever. We barely got rain here. The power went out for 3 hours. So, I mean, I got almost nothing done in the afternoon. And then it was just funny because we had to leave because obviously it was getting hot in the house. And then yesterday I had to get the car broke. That car air conditioner broke last week. Finally got it in, and that cost me $2,000 to fix the coil in it to get that taken care of. It's just one thing I know. But I was taking an Uber to go get the car, or a Lyft at the time. And this guy, I guess he thought that I would be this gigantic MAGA cheerleader. And he mentioned something on there. And I go, hey man, yeah, they all suck, dude. And he's like, huh? And I started talking about giantism, federalism. He had no clue. I told him, yeah, Aristotle talks about 30, more than 30,000. You can't govern the thing. It was 30,000. Mentioned about the Lecanto in Italy, how that was a thriving city, 20,000 people. Boom, boom, boom. Then Napoleon came in, and Italian nationalism came in, then unification came in, and now it's 80,000 people, and they need subsidies and all this from the centralized Italian government just to keep afloat. But yeah, it's fun to see that. What's the third thing? I don't know. Was Bonnie Tyler dying? I don't want to know, dude. It was yesterday air conditioning. This one in the car. They got that one fixed. Now the thing here. What's the next true to drop? I don't know. NASA seeks volunteers for. Maybe I'll sign up for NASA. NASA seeks volunteers for year-long simulated moon and Mars deep space missions. NASA is seeking volunteers to participate in a year-long mission simulating future trips to the moon and Mars. Participants will live in isolated habitats and to help researchers prepare for future deep space missions. Applicants must meet age, health, education, and technical qualifications to be considered. Oh, one of the things I was thinking about with the air thing, you know how they all tell you to keep we got to bring the air up to 78 or whatever. We're getting all these alerts saying the power grid. I was asking. What's funny, you can see they have like a notice of the knockout range. We were at the bottom of the knockout range. The other side of the knockout range, $1.2 million homes, right? They didn't lose power apparently. Across the street, starting in the 800s, they didn't lose power over here. But the old people's neighborhood where we live, these are like the cheap homes compared to those. We lost power. These are not the air conditioners you're looking for. No. And we don't need it. Yeah, we didn't. I was if we went the outside flooded with rain and we had to go get diapers, so we decided just to go down and get diapers, come back because literally across the street was totally fine. It didn't even rain. I'm laughing because I had to go. I was at the store. I was getting some not toilet paper, but paper towels, and literally for 5 hours, my feet were still wet because my shoes are still wet. It was such a big downpour that when we were going in the group get groceries afterwards, after we found out the power was on, so we use the I'm putting milk in a container in coolers to keep the milk from dying because I go every 2 weeks, pick up 10 gallons of milk and put them in the fridge just so we can have them throughout the time. Sandbags usually do the trick, yeah. So I see somebody watering their bushes, and I did not know that down here barely got any rain. So I'm telling him, what is that guy doing? Did it not rain enough? I mean, literally where I was at, it was a river I created. And I'm basically, I almost had to call Noah. It was like that. It was that level of water coming up. We apparently got nothing, and yet still got knocked out. It was hysterical. Anyway, back to the Mars thing. When I was doing Uber driving this time back in Denver, I remember one of my last rides. It was drove the guy back down to Highlands Ranch, where it was just cool that when you get a ride when you're quitting, and you get a ride that's down the street from where you live, you're like, this is fantastic. So especially when you start at 4 in the morning and you quit at 9 p.m., you're like, thank you. So I dropped this guy off at Highlands Ranch. And we ended up talking for the whole trip, obviously. And he worked at Lockheed, which Lockheed there was probably about 15 minutes away at the base of the mountains. And he mentioned about people going to Mars. And I said something, do you really think people doing it? And he goes, man, there's a waiting list of people to volunteer to do this. Now that's Lockheed. So it wasn't NASA. So apparently NASA needs volunteers. And papal news, Leo XIV has purchased 20 new Fiat Topolinos for Vatican City. And all I could think of when I was seeing this is they see me rolling, they hating, seeing the Pope riding dirty. I would go, maybe it's free food. And where the Pope is riding dirty and those little itty bitty ones. Is that like from the Italian Job? They had Fiat cars. I had to put this out because this is kind of Florida teens accused of stealing a boat were pulled from a storm cloud after becoming trapped while fleeing police.
All right, turn over.
Is there another guy or just one? Yeah, there's two in there. Help me, I'm stuck. Sometimes you look at it going, how do you get in there? New video shows women violently attacked, knocked unconscious on the Cats bus in Charlotte. This is not making worldwide news, so don't worry about it. It's twins. You're like, thank you, Mother Earth. There's twin. You just gave birth to twins. Who climbs on a pipe? Those two guys. The Pope mobiles. So yeah, this is the same ride you heard about, the one lady from Ukraine. But I didn't share the share button. Here's where a new video shows women violently attacked, knocked unconscious. The attack happened on April 10th, 2026 at a bus stop along the 400 block of Central Street in Northwest Charlotte. Video released at Queen City News shows a man chasing a woman onto the bus before assaulting her. Police said the suspect repeatedly punched and kicked the 25-year-old woman until she lost consciousness, leaving her with serious injuries. Now, ever since the Ukraine thing, they had police on the Cats. The operator immediately called police. Cat's interim CEO said back in April. I mean, apparently there's been cops on these things the entire time, but somehow they missed this one. In the months since attack, community members have continually called for increased security on Cats buses and trains, saying incidents like this highlight safety concerns for riders. It happened in April. You're hearing about it in July. With the Van Allen radiation, I mean, you might be able to get to see those UFOs a little bit better. No, you won't, because they'll be actually in HD. You'll say like that didn't even come out. Didn't orcs come out of the ground? Hospital ran out of anti-venom trying to save a father of three who was bitten twice by a ratter.
I went down there and I felt something like a sticker trying to hurt my foot. Thought, well, there's no stickers in my mom's garden. I looked down and then I got 2 bites on my foot.
Christopher Howarth was about to leave his parents' house in Orville after a brief vacation when he noticed a broken water line in their garden. As he tried to fix it, a rattlesnake bit his foot twice. Instead of driving to their home in Meridian, Idaho, Christopher's wife, Jenny, was now taking him to Orville Hospital.
He was doing okay for like the first 2 days, just having some pain in that leg. But on the 3rd day, he went into something called DIC, where his blood, the venom just kind of makes your blood not have the ability to clot.
Medical staff pumped so much plasma and anti-venom into Christopher, the hospital ran out. He was then flown to Stanford Medical Center, where he spent 6 more days before being cleared to go home. By the end of the experience, Christopher received a total of 56 vials of antivenom.
Even with him getting to the hospital within 15 minutes, probably got anti-venom within like 40 minutes of getting bit. He still had a long, kind of scary journey. He's still dealing with some lingering effects from it.
6 weeks after the bite, Christopher still has not been able to return to his job with the U.S. Postal Service. Christopher shared his feet and legs are still swollen, and overexerting himself has resulted in multi-day fatigue.
Yeah, sticker. He says, while visiting his parents in California, went in the backyard to check on a leaking pipe. Howard stepped on what he thought was a plant, but it turned out to be a deadly rattlesnake. And I mean, I read that going, how do you miss a rattlesnake for a plant that you step on? I mean, I look every time I'm in the back. I mean, there's no rattler. I'm sure there's rattlers out there, but I haven't seen one ever. But you keep looking down just in case you step on something, right? Now, how do you not know if you've been? And then, how do you not know you got bitten twice by rattlesnake? It's not like like a sticker. His lungs begun failing. His tongue was numb, and his lymph nodes had ballooned. Suffering from a rare blood clotting condition, the hospital used 54 vials of antivenom by day 3 and ran out by day 5. He said, I wasn't sure if I was going to pull through. At one point, I wrote some letters to my kids to make sure they had one last letter from Dad. He's now back in his Idaho home with his wife and 3 children after 12 grueling days in hospital. At his broken map says hospital bill 1 month later, 900 quadrillion flagillion septillion dollars. Great googly moogly. I mean, I get that too. They blend in. I would say, I guess I'm in California, I guess, because it's not like here, I guess. I mean, it's more green. I mean, the rattler not rattle? I mean, maybe the snake didn't see him either. Like I said, I never see. The one time we were in Denver, my wife and I when we were in Denver, we were like, let's go walk you have the Colorado Trail. You ever heard of this? And you can go from South Denver, and you can go all the way down to the southwestern tip of Colorado. And so we walked the opposite way because there was no way we were going to go that far. And I wasn't dressed for it. It was like a spur of the moment thing. I still had my slacks and dress shoes on. And when she had I think she had flip-flops, I don't remember. And there was a sign. You go the opposite way, and the trail gets smaller and smaller. It goes into some kind of amphitheater. And one of the signs says, beware of rattlers. I remember we were walking, and I was wondering, because we were walking single file because they got so small. And I remember looking, I saw that, and I just immediately went, yep, turn around, we're going. Because it got more narrow as you go, and the brush got higher and higher. I ain't got nothing for this. I'm going to go. We're just off for a walk. I ain't dealing with snakes. I'm waiting for this thing to be expanded about 15 feet. Because that was the last time I went on one of those. We went on some. What was the trail? Maybe it was my Mother Cabrini's. They have a trail there, and it's wide. And we still saw a snake on there, but you just go array. It's usually baby snakes, that environment. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, you're very true on that. I missed the live. My brothers, Knights of Columbus, and I were raising money for a cathedral today. Hey, yeah, cool. There's a email me. I'll hit you. I'll hit what's his name? Devin Rose has. I know Devin Rose, but he has a site that. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. I'll send it to you over the chat because they're all about helping get. He created a site to help for that exact situation. And where is it? Art companies, handcrafts, church supplies, music, beer. Maybe it's in the church supplies, music. I doubt it's that. We'll check. Romantus, Benedictus, Holy Queen. Nope, that's not it. I have a Catholic business website on the sensusfidelium.com. What is Devin's group's name? Forget. Sorry, Devin, if you're watching this, I apologize for being a terrible help right there. There it is. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's in real estate. Curo, Tracy, My Catholic Doctor, My Catholic Will. Nope. Man, what is it? Anyway, we'll keep on going. I'll figure it out. I'll find it. And I could have sworn I had it on here. Marketing Design, Core 312, Stark Productions, Presidium, Taylor Group, Tournament. Let's forget it. I can't find it. Sorry, I'll find it for you and get it to you. Yeah, I'm still technically a knight. I'm pretty much in it just for the insurance policies. Though you can get a Catholic insurance with Catholic foresters, you can get better pretty much being a forester. And you don't have to go through the whole thing about not like your wife. If you die, you're not a knight, then you can get insurance. Speaking of snakes, a dam collapse in China causes 900 snakes to escape from a farm, and authorities warn citizens after venomous snakes, including cobras, leak into surrounding areas. Look at that. Those are all snakes. Here is Jason Whitlock saying, well, they are all in on this case. Mississippi is an irresistible target for the race baiters. There's the parents of Nolan Wells, Christine and Emmerin Wansley, break their silence, speaking publicly for the first time about the death of their 18-year-old son, who was found dead after a 4th of July weekend trip with friends in Mississippi. I have not heard of it.
Taking it second by second.
Day by day. Second by second and day by day, which we all can understand. And I just want to ask you, the friends that Nolan traveled to Horn Island with, they say that he stayed behind voluntarily. Why would he stay behind?
That we cannot answer. I can't fathom why he would.
I don't know why he would. We always taught him to, if you go with a group, you stay with a group. Mm-hmm. Even when he was in college, he would say, Dad, well, we're gonna ride down to a party or something in another city. Now, so I was telling him, look, if you go with 5, you come back with 5. Do not separate from your group. Because I always said safety is in numbers. Mm-hmm. And he always said, yes, sir. So he knew to stay with his group. So why would he split from his group? I don't know.
So that would have been unusual for him to split from the group. Yeah. And you said he would always check in with you. Did he check in with you that day?
So that day, no, I don't. But of course, too, they were on the boat. And usually when he is out there, which it's not uncommon, he's, I think, since last year, he's been going there occasionally with his friends. And so it would always just be like, hey, Mom, I'm back type of thing. But this time there was no call or text from him. It was from his friend.
And then too, really didn't worry a lot about it because it was his last weekend to have fun. Yeah. Because that Monday he had to report to school. We was preparing to take him back for camp to prepare for the season. So, we understand he wanted to have his last hurrah before he locked down and get ready for the season. Because, like I said, the entire summer he's training. He got more serious. He started to understand what I was trying to tell him about football, not just being fun, but as you get farther in it, it becomes a business. If you want to excel, you have to understand and have to understand both at the same time.
And we know, Ben, that you said that you're going to do an independent investigation.
Yes.
And you say you have Nolan's cell phone and messages were deleted. How could you tell messages were deleted?
Well, his parents got the phone back, and that's something that's important, Michael, because they track this phone on Life 360.
So Life 360, but when I received the phone call from Warren, I immediately called my friend Tashima and I said, hey, have you guys seen Nolan? Because her 2 sons, Jalen and Javon, they grew.
Yeah, no offense. I'm just going to keep going on that because that seems like it's getting long, but it's a 10-minute clip. Christ has asked me to send the link on the Catholic business section. There it is in the chat. Send it already in there. I was trying to look for that site for Pat, and I can't find it right now. So like I said, I'll keep looking. I picture it. I just can't think what the name of the site is. I haven't used it in a while. The skiff says passenger sucked out of a Boeing 737 window.
37 engine came off, hit the
reportedly just made an emergency landing after a window dislodged and a passenger was partially sucked out of the plane shortly after takeoff.
Now, Bloomberg News reports that a piece of the Boeing 737 engine came off.
All right, I'm sorry. I saw Mark, another Mark, not Marky Mark, but Mark. Mark says just join breakdown what this is, please. Basically, Mark, what this gist of Clown Planet is I try to find all the nutty stories from around the world. Mostly, you're going to see mostly in the States, but Usually, I mean, if I can find Australia stuff, European stuff, things like that, and I put it all so you're not having to doom scroll for hours trying to find things. We have put it all together, find some crazy stuff, laugh about it, even though it's terrifying and horrible. We're getting terrifying and horrible down the road here, and we just have a good little time with it. And I try to do it so that you don't have to go find it. So.
Hit this window of the passenger cabin and shattered the glass. There is new video just posted here by a radio news organization in Greece showing a shattered window on a Ryanair flight. According to FlightAware, the plane had just reached 16,000 feet before it began a rapid descent and then turned around. You can see those oxygen masks were deployed, indicating that pressure in the cabin was lower, dropped dramatically. A passenger says that she'd heard some kind of a bursting noise and then people started screaming. She says the head and shoulders of one of the passengers was then outside the window, even though he was wearing a seatbelt. The man is now reportedly in the hospital with friction burns, according to the airline. The plane had taken off from Greece, headed to Germany. King has not been able to verify this independently. We've reached out to Boeing for more on this incident. We'll have more as we learn it. But what a scary, scary incident for these passengers.
I bet that guy has. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of that. What it's like? What do you hear people say? Hey, new fear unlocked. Right there. I mean, you get sucked out of the head. Your head sucked out. You can't get back in, and you're looking straight down, and the plane's going down at the same time. Whoa! What was the Indiana Jones line? No ticket. Yes. Mark is not trying to make, no pun intended, that would suck. You should debate Christian King. It's a Protestant panel who's doing live open debates right now. I on debating on what? I mean, last time I did any kind of debates, it was Protestants, actually. 4 of them, 5 of them, 4 or 5 of them. Felt like Optimus Prime, I'll take you all on. They asked me to do it. This was 8 years ago, 9 years ago. I haven't done one since. Yeah, no ticket. Once the future king, President DJT says, well, it's not him. The House is expected to vote next week on a bill to make daylight savings times permanent. Yep. For a faceless man goes, and it's January, it's 8 a.m., and the sun still hasn't risen. It should be standard time all the time. Children should not be standing, waiting for the bus. And they shouldn't be standing in the line for a bus anyways, but I have too much imagination. Please stop, Steve. Yes, I have too many jokes running through this warped mind of mine. So yeah, I have to stop too. Hit the button. Yep, there we go. As Off Guardian says, the voting will be repeated until the correct result is achieved. Why? Because the EU Parliament rejected chat control, and they are now forcing us to vote again on it to revive it. What kind of democracy is this if we're forced to vote on the same issue over and over until they get the result they want? My colleague explained the situation in the prime.
With the rule. Unfortunately, you as the president did not abide by the rules, and you asked the council to revive chat control 1.0 when the plenary voted to reject it. You should have asked the commission to withdraw it in accordance with the rule 60.2. We now have to vote again on an urgent procedure initiated by your group that is ready to give in to this farce. Colleagues, stand your ground. Vote the procedure down and vote chat control down again. Thank you.
You will be voting until you get this right, ladies and gentlemen. Here's 10th Amendment
States
Center.
refuse to interpose criminal degeneracy. That's what James Madison called it when states refuse to interpose against the federal government when it's directly attacking any of the rights spelled out in the Bill of Rights. This, he warned, just leads to a precedent which may be fatal to our other rights.
And in South Kakalaki, there is a 715,000 square foot meta data center planned for Aiken County, South Kakalaki. I went to school in Aiken, finished in there. If you look here at the map, I went from blue in the top in Spartanburg for JUCO to Charleston, and then Aiken. Aiken's over there in the pink, all the way to the left. I was a dumb idiot back then because I always joked, hey, they named this country Aiken because this area Aiken because when you got done driving to it, you were aching. No, in fact, there are many data centers planned for South Carolina. Reason why that's all the pinks are all the the blues are all the planned ones. I mean, the pink are the operational ones. Great, googly moogly. Anyway, this is all because a deadly bacteria found in major U.S. cities' water system traced to Zuckerberg's 800 million meta data center from Tech Radar. Here's Geopolitics and Empire. It says, you are correct. The EU is not actually a country. Does this sound familiar? It is a supranational entity and empire. Its characteristics include anti-democracy, technocracy, and totalitarianism. Soviet dissidents have christened it the New European Soviet. Others have called it the Fourth Reich, this a child of the Nazi Germany and Soviet Union. There is no justice in the EU. So, I know, I put that like Leonardo DiCaprio. I've seen this before. Yeah. Uh-huh. This was EU justice rope. Democracy is how we live. We live our lives in Europe. Treasure it, shape it, protect it. And so the EU acts like a country. Yeah, fixed it. Uh-huh. Again, people think the United States of America is a country. Same thing as the EU. You got states, the Italian state, the Spanish state, the French state, German state. State equals country. State of North Carolina. Back, like I said, the Paris, the Treaty of Paris, put North Carolina, the state of North Carolina, on equal par with the state of England. State of Virginia, equal par with state of England. We forget that part. Again, we want to win or to get some, get out of this mess. We have to remember this part. Yeah, the state of Iowa is a free and independent state. It has its own constitution, own government, own judiciary, own executive. It can be a free and independent state outside of these United States and outside of the federal government at any time. These states can literally destroy the federal government. Man, did you hear angels playing harps? Baby angels singing? Yeah. Yes. The states, if they got their acts together and figured out, and people will figure it out in general, imagine if Catholics led the charge on that. Hey, the states are in charge. The states could end Leviathan. Man, wouldn't that be cool? No one wants to think about that because we love the Olympics too much. We got to have our gold medal things and World Cup. We have Team USA. How about Team Iowa? Wouldn't that have been cool? Team, well, I don't know if it is. Hey, Mark, does anybody play soccer in Iowa? Team Texas, whatever. Team USA. Mm-hmm. How much I care. You know how much people cared about that? Nobody cared about that. Now, if there was a Team Georgia, I bet everyone in Georgia would watch.
Agents at the home. It's been nonstop.
We have people working 7 days a week, 12 to 16 hours per day, but we get the mission done.
For agents at the Homeland Security investigations during the World Cup in Kansas City.
I think the hardest part was just getting to this point. The planning, again, over time, month after month.
Of course, there's not many soccer players in Iowa because they're not that gay. Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm not a soccer guy either.
Week after week.
Since the tournament began, agents have dialed in on human trafficking operations, arresting 14 people, identifying 9 victims of human trafficking, and recovering 8 missing children.
Unfortunately, most of these children are runaways, and they are reported missing by their families or their care providers. However, they end up on the streets. They end up with these traffickers who put them available for these human trafficking, events.
The kids found were mostly teens and several from the KC Metro.
We find them.
Let me ask you something. There's flock cameras everywhere. They just said they're on the streets. How can my theory, conspiracy theory, is the powers that be know this is either going on or they cut the cameras off during it, because there's no way in God's green earth that you can tell me there's flock cameras everywhere and they're going up by the like gremlins getting wet, coming up everywhere. And they don't know this. They haven't seen this. They can't stop this. That's the argument. They say they can find anything they want. So why have these flock cameras then if it's just control? Just say because they ain't doing nothing about this.
Every day. So that the best thing that we can do is have people keep an eye on your kids.
HSI also seized a little more than $435,000 worth of counterfeit World Cup items, like jerseys, T-shirts, and flags.
Ultimately, they'll either be destroyed, or if they're determined to be safe, they're typically exported to third world countries where their clothing is in short supply.
Even with the games ending, working with other partners to keep Casey safe will continue.
We're almost there. There's light at the end of the tunnel, but we have a few more days till we get to the end of the road here with the World Cup.
Mark, send me the stories. I might be interested in doing a show on that. But because there's no way. I would like to ask somebody like, all right, who's that? How do they not, with all these flock cameras, how does that get away? They just, that guy just says they go down to, they end up getting trafficked down to South America. How? How do you get out of the town? If this has happened in any of those cities where the World Cup is going on, there's 48,000 flock cameras, probably downtown alone. How do you not get caught? How do you not? You have to. Come on, you're everything spies on, except for the human traffic. I think it was like I said, my wife swears it was on the Sean Ryan show. I haven't seen it yet. But she says it was about this. It was the interview. Mark, you remember talking about. I played it at one time when she's talking about the kids at the what is it? Adoption agencies type deal. Anyway, they said she apparently says that the powers that be are in control of the cameras. Either they shut them off or they know and they look the other way. One of two. But these guys have to know because they're pretty much spying on their girlfriends. The police let them go. That'd be something. And it gets into the government's dark economy, people, drugs, weapons. It goes in not just the Epstein report, but it goes into Franklin cover-up. Again, look, if you want to listen to something horrific, look online, go into the Franklin cover-up. I think it's called Silence. Is a documentary, 58-minute documentary. This was during the Reagan administration. Was it the Reagan administration? It went all the way to the top. And it was in Nebraska, starting in Franklin, Nebraska, was it? I think it was Franklin, Nebraska. Horrific. And it's probably been going on since no one's gone to jail over it. Here is if you smell.
That you said.
Oh, The Rock is racist.
That is me in there.
No. I don't, other than, and this is one of the beauties, I think, and one of the blessings of Moana is that live action Moana we can show. Hey, this is us. When I was a kid, Indiana Jones inspired me. When I was 8 years old, watching Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, I'm like, oh, I want to be that guy. But that guy didn't look like me.
Yeah. Was there a part of you that said, but I can't be him because?
No, I love that. There was a part of me that said, oh, I want to be that. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was like, I want to be that. And, okay, that was it. That's where it ended. Right. But now, if you think about it, around the world, little boys and girls who are brown skinned, even not brown skinned, Mark. It's like this idea of
So Dwayne Johnson says he lacked cultural representation in the media. Growing up, Indiana Jones inspired him when he was 8 years old, watching Harrison Ford. I was like, I want to be that guy, but that guy didn't look like me. Somebody underneath there had a hysterical line. And it goes, when I was a kid, I wanted to be Optimus Prime, but I was not an alien robot that turns into a truck. My favorite movie when I was 8 was Steel, starring Shaq. I watched it so many times the VHS tape broke. Never did I think this would be better if he was white. Yeah, I don't know anybody that ever thought anything like that. And Alexander had a great one. A white man with a whip inspired him. I didn't even repeat myself when I saw that one. Yeah, it was Franklin, Nebraska. The guy's name was Larry King. Yes. You're right. You're exactly right. Yeah, horrific. First time I heard that was one of Father's podcasts, decade ago, probably. Speaking of ICE, migrants who saw a man killed by ICE in Houston say he did not ram official officers. 3 men who were arrested during an immigration operation that resulted in a fatal shooting of Lorenzo Salgado Arujo said the federal officer fired at them almost immediately after exiting his vehicle, and at no point did the driver veer in his direction. So this came out 6 hours ago. DHS released a statement hours after the deadly shooting saying that Salgado Araujo had rammed an ICE vehicle and weaponized his white work van in an attempt to run over an ICE law enforcement officer. That is a lie, wrote Jose Rojas 51 in a handwritten statement. It is impossible for them to say that they were going to get run over. There were no officers in front of or behind the vehicle. They were on the sides.
DHS officials say he was not the original target of an immigration enforcement operation, and now state officials are discussing where that investigation stands. Jacqueline Lee has the latest at this hour.
More details are emerging after an ICE officer shot and killed 52-year-old Lorenzo Salgado Araujo in Houston Tuesday. DHS officials admitting Salgado Araujo was not the target of the ICE search. The officials say Salgado Araujo, who is a Mexican national, resembled the target. An ICE spokesperson says Salgado Araujo ignored commands during a vehicle stop. That spokesperson also says Salgado Araujo allegedly weaponized his vehicle in an attempt to run over an officer, prompting the officer to fire his weapon in self-defense. The attorney who represents the passengers who were in the car with Salgado Araujo says the officer's account of the incident is inaccurate.
Yeah, they confirmed that at no point was there ever an ICE agent directly in front of the vehicle. They also confirmed that the shots came from the sides, not from the front, which is inconsistent, with the ICE agent statement.
Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia says she spoke with acting ICE Director David Venturella about her concerns regarding the incident. She says he confirmed none of the ICE agents were wearing body cameras and none of the vehicles had dashboard cameras that captured the shooting.
I really pressed him on this because, quite frankly, I would have to ask the community, what would you do if you're just being followed by someone? And the cars were unmarked. They did not have a siren. They did not have lights or noise.
The district attorney of Harris County says his investigators were not invited to the scene that day, which historically is common.
We will go to the ends of the earth to collect all the evidence so that we can eventually let the public know what happened.
Salgado Araujo's family is now demanding an independent investigation.
I just want all Americans to know that my dad was a hardworking man, a family man, who wanted nothing more than to put food on the table and to watch his sons achieve the American dream.
The Harris County Medical Examiner listed Salgado Araujo's death as a homicide, with the primary cause of death as a gunshot wound to the torso.
Here's the just more on it. Nice. All this is in the show notes below, so if you want to read up on it, there it is. Again, they already said this one too. This is New York Slimes. Mitch McConnell seen loaded into ambulance after apparent cardiac arrest. New video shows. I've actually seen a tweet saying that he has died. I have no confirmation on that outside of a tweet that has been happening. All those tweets, they, 1,000,000,000% accurate, as we'll get into more of that. But apparently Mitch McConnell's not doing good. He could be dead. He could have died 10 years ago, like we jokingly said, or he might be dead now. I don't know.
He'll come out when he is, when he feels comfortable.
Can I ask a question? If you're a
I think this is much ado about nothing. I think we should give him the grace and give him some privacy. He'll come out when he is, when he feels comfortable.
Can I ask a question? If you're a resident of the state of Kentucky and need help getting a passport with the State Department, who do you call?
You call Senator Mitch McConnell's office. Well, please, the Senate staff. Everyone knows that the Senate staff is really where the magic happens and does all the work. I think this.
James Lee. So basically, CNN just admitted that everyone in Congress is a puppet, which just shows that actually everyone else does something. I mean, you have him. What's her face? That's in Lisa McCall. What's her? Lisa? She's in Maine. The one that's going after the one they're challenging with the one dude that's a socialist, but Now they're threatening that he's raped 48,000 women, it seems like. She's on video. She's bouncing her head. She's got the shakes. All these guys, they're just old, decrepit. I don't know if they're just, you talk about puppets. There's no way this guy is fit for office, or most of these guys. Okay, this is going into the Kirk thing. Graham Allen and 48,000 others are all saying this exact same thing. A zoomed-in video shows him taking the shot. It's over. The judge must reconsider his ruling and give the Kirk family a speedy trial they deserve. Everyone else is going, are you sure?
And I believe you asked. I'd like to be crystal clear. You asked if there's any portion of this video that captures. I believe you asked of the actual shooting. There's no video of that. There is video, however, and you've heard testimony related to this, where the shooter goes to the top of the low-C building, goes out to the edge of the building, low crawls, and then leaves after what we assume is the shot being fired. That's as close as it gets. I'd like.
And then, obviously, if you zoom in, it just gets grainy. Yes, term limits is, and that's what the Confederate States Constitution did have term limits. Also, you just had one term for a president, 6 years, 1 year, one term of 6. And here is again everyone else. Benny and the Jets talking about the video that has not been yet made public, but you need to hear about it. Diligent Citizens talking about a video that got played. Here's Graham Allen. There's Jack talking about detailed video.
I think it's proven. I would say beyond probable cause at this point. I think that the question. I think everything's been proven. I think it's.
And most of the time, every time I see Jack saying it, I think of, I know somebody has it in here. I've used it. I just don't have it with me right now. Yeah, there it is. The Epstein files. Trust me, bro. He's never apologized for that one. By the way, he's blocked Sensus Fidelium, by the way, just because I dare to say anything about Trump. His golden goose. More flock cameras cut down in Houston amid some privacy concerns. They're happening at a lot of places anymore. Oh yeah, here's Brandy Siciliani. She says, I was in the courtroom today. There is no high quality zoomed in footage showing anyone taking a shot. The video shown is the same distance as the footage of quote unquote Tyler jumping off the roof shown in this screenshot. If I jumped off a roof right there, I'm not moving. You might as well just catch me. I have no idea why people are claiming otherwise. They know the video isn't going to be released publicly, so they're misrepresenting what was actually shown in court. And you see that because those guys are all saying the same thing over and over again, and then they come out with like the screwdriver thing, and people are going, "Guys, what are you guys talking about?" I mean, Lisa Loomer is out there saying Candace should be sued. I'm going, well, what happens if you're wrong? Does Lisa get sued for calumny? Yeah, the entire Prosabiac family is blackmailed. Kevin, Jack, his wife used to follow too. There she left. Man, you don't kiss the MAGA ring, the entire family cuts you off. Yeah. Where are we at here? What's the next one? Oh yeah. Here's the text from this was yesterday.
We could scroll down to page 2. And if you can continue reading along.
Okay. And Tyler says, I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet.
I'm still okay, my love. Yes, that's who says that.
Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry.
I hope they keep this a secret, but something tells me I need to text everybody about it right now.
To involve you. And then Lance replies, you weren't the one who did it, right? And Tyler says, I am, I'm sorry. Lance says, I thought they caught the person. And then Tyler says, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's.
I wouldn't recover from it. Jumping off, what was that, probably about 15 feet? I don't want to jump off 3 feet. My knees are all shot that, you know what, from playing. They're better because I do more things with them, even eating wise, but I'm not even trying it. I mean, I saw one of my old teammates talk about trying to, he videoed himself jumping and he ended up just, getting a stuck ball out. I'm not even going to try that. I'm just, give me the ball. I'm going to throw it and knock it out. My vertical anymore is about 3 inches and I'm totally happy with that. Sony X comments said the green pixel line is fresh, showed the phone was slammed or damaged recently as if to block the time on the status bar. Everything is signed. Yeah, we deserve better psyops, Jeffrey. Yes, you are correct. We need to start a movement. Demand better psyops. Just in, Trump reveals U.S. Space Force has cameras in orbit that can read the badge of Iranian officials entering nuclear sites. Yet our government wants you to believe this blurry footage is Tyler Robinson and that no footage exists showing him actually taking a shot from the rooftop, something those space cameras would easily be able to see. Let's see some space camera footage. Because Polymart comes out, Trump reveals U.S. Space Force has cameras in orbit that can read the badge of Iranian officials entering nuclear sites. And don't you think that they believe it? You see the video cameras. You see them coming down. They have these gigantic. They can read the book for you from a camera that's above the Earth orbit. That's the best thing that they got. I missed. Yeah, actually, Jeff, you might be shocked on this. I've never watched the Candace show. I have no idea. Everyone, the haters will go, "Oh, you just watch Candace." I've never watched it. This is just stuff that I'm just picking up and looking at from just, seeing the things come in. Jewish space cameras. Private eyes are watching you. They see every move. Jason Bassler saying, well, that happened again. Another officer caught abusing flock cameras, caught by an audit, which raises the real question. How often does this happen when no one's looking? This pattern is an exception. It's a feature of surveillance architecture. Oh, and while I'm reading that, I'm thinking again, okay, Trump reveals Space Force has cameras in orbit that can read the badge. Flock cameras, space cameras orbits, all this, Elon's, all his things. And yet human trafficking still exists. Make that make sense. How do you not catch every human being that's trafficking? You got these cameras, you got all this stuff watching everything you're doing. But that, Bill, I've heard, was it, who is it? My doctor was talking about, my kid's doctor was talking about that. Was it like an underground pull down or something like that? There was an underground thing. He told me about that. I'm going, yeah, I'm not buying that one. It's kind of like when I lived in Denver and people were telling me about things like, and I would, about like the lizard people live underneath the Denver International Airport. Now I tell them, I subscribe to a lot of conspiracy theories. I can't do that one. The AI could photograph jurors. The AI could do all kinds of things. You have to literally watch a video, and literally, even when the shooting happened, my first question was, did I just see a real video? Now, I'm not saying it's not real or not. I have no clue, but that's the level we're at anymore. You have to say anything you see, is it real or fake? Bombing videos, you see it online. You have to just don't share something just because you see it. You see something that's a video, make sure you verify it first, because anything could be messed up. Yeah, Meta glasses. It's just odd how she's been platformed and promoted, but people like Mowalski do platform. Well, that's just like during Rona days. Remember the doctors in California that got kicked off real quick, but then you had like Russell Brand skyrocket. I remember watching him right at the beginning. He started talking about stuff. He was like the only one still wasn't kicked off. Corbett got kicked off. The doctors got kicked off. Dr. Bailey was getting kicked. All these guys getting kicked off, but somehow Russell Brand was just getting million. He was skyrocketing at the time. Going like, how's he allowed to say this stuff? Went so far as the 12th of September onwards. So Charlie was a time traveler. No way. This she really? I have no idea. Wow. No, like I said, I haven't watched any of that. That is nuts. I have no idea if she's, that's amazing. That's wow. Okay. I got nothing on that one. Here's who was it? I listened to Robert Inikesh did a thing on the Board of Peace today. Now, he didn't have any show notes, but one of the things he said,
governments, and the Lebanese government they recognized Israel, something that they hadn't done before. There's perhaps one clause, that's clause 13 in the agreement, that should be taken note of, and it does have indeed global implications. Clause 13 explicitly stipulates that the Lebanese government cannot pursue legal action against the Israelis for the crimes committed against its people. Now, bear in mind that since October 7, 2023, nearly 10,000 people in Lebanon have been killed by Israel. Israel has bombed schools. It's dropped chemical agents in high concentrations, which have similar effects, perhaps, to Agent Orange that was dropped in Vietnam. And we all know the consequences, the horrific consequences of Agent Orange. Israel was spraying chemical agents of a very similar nature on southern Lebanon. It was using white phosphorus and continues to use white phosphorus munitions, target hospitals and schools and journalists, and the list evidently goes on. So the Lebanese government sacrificed its ability through this agreement to even pursue legal action. Now, alone, that may seem somewhat insignificant. Why is this relevant to what is happening on a global stage? Which is why we're going to pair this with other pieces of information and what has been also happening recently. Now, if we move south to the Gaza Strip, where Israel has actively been committing a genocide, there was something called the Board of Peace, which was established by the Trump administration. The Board of Peace now is an interesting organization or body. It was built and ultimately approved by the United Nations Security Council. It is a body that seeks to replace the United Nations altogether. And it was supposed to be approved in order to serve as a somewhat governing body of the Gaza Strip. Now, the Trump administration put out its security doctrine through the White House. And of course, the idea of a nation building project is a bit foreign to the concepts pushed by the Trump administration, or at least what it publicly espouses. So why then did Trump create what is in essence, or what should be, what appears to be, a body which is really set up to do nation building in the Gaza Strip? Why would it do something like that? Well, then we have to go to its charter, because once this Board of Peace was established, as per the UN Security Council vote, which ultimately gave birth to UN Security Council Resolution 2803, we see that in that charter, Gaza and Palestine are not mentioned once. There's not even a single mention of them. Now, the body does, of course, function to take control of Gaza, but what it really did is set up an alternative system to the United Nations. Now, again, that piece of information alone, standalone, it's concerning, but it doesn't exactly spell a new world order and global implications and all of the rest of this. Now, this Board of Peace that has been established has a draft resolution that it is seeking to pass, which would enable all of its members, everyone affiliated with it, the head of the High Commission for Gaza, which of course is not a Palestinian, not an Arab, not somebody from the region even, right? Somebody that is on the payroll, a distinguished fellow with the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, which infamously helped push the Bush administration into the Iraq War and is a part, really, the think tank wing of the Israel lobby, or part of that think tank wing. So a man who is, in essence, employed or at least paid by these people, or performs a role for this wing of the Israel lobby, was placed in control of Gaza. He cannot be charged. He will have full immunity according to this draft resolution. All the members of the Board of Peace will have full immunity. So if someone dies in Gaza or is injured in Gaza as the result of their actions, they cannot be punished. In fact, anyone that is even contracted by the Board of Peace and international forces, which are supposed to form what is known as the International Stabilization Force, they can't be charged with anything either. Full immunity, legal immunity.
You watch the rest of it. I listened to it this morning. They get full immunity anywhere for doing anything. Incredibly scary. There's Dre. Someone brought in who was it that brought up? Was it Bill? You brought up the Trump accounts? Yes, sir. You were that was the next in line. The Trump accounts are no longer going to be optional. So if you ever plan on having a child in these United States, you should read what I found. According to the Social Security Administration's announcement last week, they are modifying the hospital birth registration form so that a Trump account is automatically created for your child through that same process. It will be bundled into the Enumeration at Birth program, the EAB, which is the already automated government pipeline that gives your newborn a Social Security number. It's one box that you check. You don't have the option of unbundling it. So if you want your kid to have a Social Security number, you have to have a Trump account, which is strange because according to the IRS and U.S. Treasury's public announcements, these accounts only open when a parent actively elects to open one. So which is it? Why is nobody on the government interested in explaining this flagrant contradiction? Who's going to answer the basic question of what a parent does if they don't want a government-linked investment account, one that collects biometric data, by the way, created for their child at the exact moment their child's Social Security number is issued? They can call it a savings account all they want, but a $1,000 deposit is a hell of a cheap price for building a lifelong financial file on every American child before they can consent to anything. And once the government normalizes linking a person's identity, financial activity, and predictive systems from birth, who gets to decide what that data will be used to predict later? We deserve to break away. I mean, what? Oh, that guy's a socialist. What ism is that? When they say bundle, is that the baby or the money? Probably both. So, yeah, you get your Trump account whether you like it or not, citizen. What ism is that? I can't find that power anywhere in the federal government. Speaking of power taken away, here's iCatholicMobile.com. If you don't want to pay your bill to T-Mobile, Sprint, whatever that gives money to their employees to go across state borders to kill their kid, give it to a Catholic mobile guy. He helps, again, mentioned before, gives priests and monks and religious orders free internet and cell phone usage. So switch over to iCatholicMobile.com. You'll be glad you did. It's the same. Just, you see the thing at the bottom right, it says ask me, click it, they'll ask you. You can get this thing switched in 5 minutes. So again, iCatholicMobile.com, and he and Dave will take care of you. Good dude out there. Yes, it is called socialism. We have a winner. Absurdism. I'll accept it. White House considering plan to add permanent fencing along Pennsylvania Avenue to bolster security, because nothing sounds freedom like a big fence with a cannon looking right at you. The White House is upgrading its front door to fortify the entrance. Maybe there's too many Door Dashers are moving in. That's what's happening. DoorDash is getting too close to the front door. They got to make sure it's pretty much bomb resistant. So that's what they're doing. They're making they're making some kind of bomb shelter in the White House. Is that what they're doing? I really thought Trump was going to lower the deficit. Well, I was disappointed. He is doing the same things that Brandon, yet conservatives defended it. No intellectual honesty whatsoever. Where's my tea? No, don't blame me. I told you. I hate to say I told you so, but yes, told you so. In a protein maxing era, men want tight suits. Forget the muscle tank. This is muscle tailoring. You know what? UFC fighter Conor McGregor wore a tight-fitting chalk-striped jacket to the White House. You know, every time I got a jacket that is tight on me, it's not because I've asked for it. It's my dad's old one. It's got, and I feel like I'm gonna if I do this, like fat guy in little coat. And not that I'm a fat guy, but it's just one of those, like I bring my arms in, I can feel it almost like breaking. And I mean, it's already destroyed. The inside is falling apart. Even my kid goes, Daddy, you need another jacket. I can't afford it right now, bro. You need to eat. All of us thought he would do that. I think that's why they killed Charlie. He would have been able to organize opposition. You know, there's a lot of truth to that one. Believe the hype about teen takeovers. Outdoor street parties are turning into violent rumbles in D.C. and other large cities. There's town and country. How weather became a hot topic. Long considered the ultimate and boring conversation these days. Talking about the weather seems to be all anyone wants to do. Normally talking about the weather would be anathema to me. Like, can we really not find anything else more interesting to discuss? However, that has changed. Yeah. If you can't think of anything appropriate to say, will you please restrict your remarks to the weather? In UFO news, the Pentagon has released a fourth batch of UFO documents and videos, including what officials describe as the clearest footage yet, showing a large two-tiered object captured by an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform in 2020. Now, that's the best you could do. I mean, it kind of reminded me of Galaga being zoomed in a little bit. You know, I mean, really? Remember all these high definition cameras, by the way. This is insider paper. The Pentagon has released an image captured by astronauts aboard Space Shuttle Columbia showing an unidentified object in low Earth orbit. The first of three photographs, the object appears near the center of the frame, just to the right of Earth's limb. Now, I remember looking at a friend of mine actually told me that too, because I thought there was something on my screen. That dude, bro. Let's see. Tic Tac, ice particle, lost tool, tile fragment, reflection off another satellite, space debris, reflection or optical artifact off the window, or lens flare, or a film artifact. Yeah, it looks like something could just messed up on the window. I mean, you hit a bug. This looks like an image taken through a windshield into a work van. What is he? Yeah. Don't think to turn the lights off inside a shuttle before taking photos. It really makes you wonder how the astronauts with such high IQ and qualifications didn't think to turn the lights off inside the shuttle. I wrote on there and said, you should laugh at the pentagram. About that. Here's another one. Just in, U.S. releases another UFO footage showing a six-pointed object flying over the Yellow Sea in 2025. Remember, 2025 was last year. How many satellites out there? They just said that you can have all these satellites, can see somebody walking into a uranium center or whatever, and that's the best you got. Like I said, the high def is amazing. All those millions of satellites, flight cameras, etc., and you get the Atari 26 level graphics for this, and they go, see, UFO. Yeah, if you believe that, you will believe anything. Amen. Exactly. Kneel before Zod. Test Drive Town, America's 100-year-old secret city where cars have no license plates, gas is free, and only 200 people have total access. Hey, I like it. 100-year-old. Where is this place at? The mysterious site is General Motors Milford Proving Ground, a sprawling vehicle testing facility in suburban Michigan, spread across 4,000 acres. The private complex has almost 150 miles of roads and more than 150 buildings. It also has its own gas station, fire and emergency crews, medical center, electronic substation, and wastewater treatment plant.
Employee was remotely watching the car. Two kids got into a driverless car last week, allegedly made some illegal decisions, and ended up with 5 police officers waiting outside. An employee was remotely watching the car's interior cameras live and saw what they believed was a gun being fired from the vehicle. They called 911 and told police that a firearm was being discharged, remotely disabled the car, and guided police to the location. When they searched the car, they found Orbeez water beads and a toy gun. In this specific situation, maybe they made the right call. They saw something that looked like a threat, acted fast, and nobody got hurt. But this could get complicated. A private tech company without a warrant monitored 2 minors and made a judgment call about their behavior and coordinated a police response. And the gun turned out to be a toy. Think about what a different outcome could look like. Someone has a medical episode and their movements trigger a flag. Or a person in a neighborhood that gets over-policed gets reported based on behavior that reads differently depending on who's watching. The car locks, police arrive, and things escalate in a way that can't be undone. Now add the fact that this industry is actively moving towards removing humans from that monitoring process entirely. Meaning, in the not too distant future, an algorithm can be the one deciding whether to lock you in and call the cops. Who's accountable when the AI gets it wrong? What are the legal limits of a private company's ability to surveil and physically detain you? These are the questions we should be asking right now, before this becomes so normal we forget to ask them at all.
That's why I keep saying, don't forget, eventually you're going to want to drive the mass. Kill switches in cars, flat cameras, automatic shutoffs. Where do you think you're going, Kyle? You don't think that's going to happen? That's why I asked a lot of guys, said, hey, I get it. Go to the trad mass. I'm all for it. Drive all the way for it. How you going to do it when they do this to you?
Welcome back. It's 20 minutes until the top of the hour. New this morning, there's a new deputy in town. Forsyth County Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough gave me an exclusive look at a new robot that you could see walking the streets of Winston-Salem soon. Let's check it out.
I'm going to show you something, right? So guess what?
Oh, you got to do better than that. Push it.
You get what I'm saying? You can't push him down. You can't push him down. And if he did fall down, he would hop right back up.
It's like something from iRobot, right? This robot, called a humanoid, is part of a partnership with Artificial Intelligence Robotics Arts R&D based in Winston-Salem. The robot is able to run, walk, and even bust a dance move or two. When it comes to crime, the robot can map out a crime.
This is Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Crime scene or even event using 3D technology. I think right now it's doing a little bit of dance moves here. Here are some of the other ways that the robot could be used.
We could send a humanoid into that same situation and accomplish the same things, hostage negotiation.
Please tell me. I have a warped mind as well. Someone's got to be thinking this. This is the sheriff. Yes, not a bad sheriff. Just, anybody thinking of Blazing Saddles? The sheriff. Sorry, I had to say it.
Breach the door, go inside of the house, do all the talking and recording. I can program it to do whatever I want to do. Hit buttons. As you saw, it started fighting, it started dancing, it talks. Any motion that I wanted to do, I can program it to do.
Right now, the sheriff's office does not own the robot. The sheriff did not tell me if or when the sheriff's office would purchase.
As police to police say, he says armed robo-policing is the future. This looks like exactly every dystopian movie we were supposed to learn from. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. It's all fun and games till the T-1000 comes up. This just in, Trump declares he will veto the House bill unless Senate passes the Save America Act. Thank you, DJT. He will neither bill is constitutional, by the way. So I mean, both should be kicked out. I mean, the federal government should not be involved in housing and should not be doing the Save America Act, especially since it is digital ID. There's Trump on the housing affordability plan. In his own words, it's so important. It's a big yawn. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't want to drive housing prices down. I want to drive housing prices up.
Elections.
What are your plans for the housing bill, Mr. President?
I don't know. I think it's so unimportant by compared to the Save America Act. I think the Save America Act.
Will you sign that housing bill?
I have not. It hasn't been sent to me yet. It's coming. I understand, and then I'll make a difference. Here's what I would like to sign: much more than a bill. That big deal. It's a yawn.
I don't think about American financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. I don't.
There's so much talk about, we're going to drive housing prices down. I don't want to drive housing prices down. I want to drive housing prices up.
He wants to drive them up because the boomers that are voting for everything like this want the prices up. They don't want everything to go down. New data reveals U.S. housing prices have hit an all-time high. There's a house not too far from me that was it $800,000? It looks like a $200,000 home from 10 years ago. What in the wide world sports is going on here?
Brother is watching you. A new University of Washington report released today shows federal agencies, including ICE, are accessing local police department cameras.
These rows-on cameras track you so well that police can even predict where you'll go.
And wait, look at that. Yeah, human trafficking still goes on, right? Well, here it is right there. An estimated 2,300 children are missing every day in the United States. So how does that happen? Here's Florida. Cape Coral leaders are proposing AI cameras on trash trucks to scan homes and yards for code violations, high grass, unpermitted renovations, and more. Please say land of the free, home of the brave. Yeah. So they can issue fines and take people to court for high grass. We already have flock cameras on poles watching the streets. Now this, and it's not just here. Dallas has already approved AI cameras on sanitation trucks, while other cities are deploying them on code enforcement vehicles, drones, and more. Is this simply simple efficiency or for our safety and a slow rollout of neighborhood surveillance across the country? What do you think? AI video, by the way. Tom Rent says, as if flock camera nightmare isn't bad enough, now Cape Coral is looking to use AI-powered spy cams on dump trucks to find reasons to find people. How much more abuse and crooked government are we going to talk? And that's not from the federal government. That's in the state of city leaders of Florida. Again, think locally, act locally. If you're in Cape Coral, Florida, I'd be going to the city council going, whiskey tank, what in the world, guy? And then you better get on board on their city council, and then you stop this stuff. That goes for any of you, wherever you are. If there's something going on really weird in your town or city, get on the boards, get on the state council. You can stop all this stuff. We get good men and women on board. You can stop all this nonsense. Yeah, it's pretty much a Decepticon. Don't get a smart car fare. They could totally hijack. Really, they could hijack any car. Here's one for you, Crisis. They like a car that has cruise control is an automated stage 1. I think it is stage 1 or stage 2. Whatever stuff, the gadgets you have in your car, they can all be hacked. If they have any kind of chip in it, they can all be hacked. And it's just a level of autonomous that you have. I think level 5 is total autonomous. But even if you have cruise control in it, your car has some sort of autonomous driving in it and can be hacked. So it's not just a smart car. Instead, they're all like that. Whoops.
Right now with AI, code has already looked at a software that will put cameras on trash trucks that drive up and down every single street. And that software has the ability to identify bad roofs, broken windows. We could easily, if we deploy this, we could look at saying, tell us when there's construction material at the curb. Because if someone's got an entire tub and a kitchen at their curb, it's likely they're doing a remodel that needs a permit. So we're not there yet. We've demoed it and we've looked at it. The issue then becomes, well, what if we get 3,000 of them a week? Then we don't even have a manpower issue to resolve. So we're exploring how and to best deploy it, figuring out what the costs are. But there are some very unique and innovative AI software tools that are coming out to help code with some of these issues.
What about like heftier fines on the people that are cut?
Sorry. Oh man. Record companies push to label AI songs on streaming platforms. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, people know they're AI. It's just they're not. People don't even tell you they are or not. U.S. states could sue next week to block Paramount Warner Brothers deal, sources say. I don't know why would this even be a thing? U.S. states concerned that Paramount's $110 billion acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery will hurt competition could sue to block the deal as soon as next week. Two sources familiar to the matter said. Whereas for California, New York, and other U.S. states are preparing lawsuit as state officials look to step up their scrutiny of big mergers and acquisitions. I don't know. I mean, I know they can do it, but I was just like, why would you? Declassified intelligence map reveals where America's largest UFO waves unfolded. Dozens of new declassified UFO records were released by the Pentagon on Friday, including a shocking map revealing where hundreds of UFOs were flying near major cities in the U.S. This must be the map. Top secret map showing over 200 UFO contacts between 47 and 48. Witnesses revealed detailed drawings of the craft they saw, including cigar-shaped rockets flying. Isn't that what the Jetsons flew in? Let's see, here's the map. Let's see where's the map at? Okay, let's see. Outside LA's got a bunch. Is that Portland up there? Let's see. Is that you part of that? Part Idaho right there? Salt Lake. Is Denver, nothing there. A little bit outside El Paso. How are we looking on the east side here? That's Cleveland. So a little bit looks like Cincinnati had a few. I'm assuming that those dots are. Here's the Savannah River. So that looks like that's Columbia has one right there. It looks like Aiken or Abbeville. Wilmington had a few. Philadelphia. Orlando. Interesting. Man 26 arrested after Ann Widdecombe 78 murdered with cops open-minded over motive for a distressing death. A 26-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder in connection with the death of former conservative MP Ann Widdecombe. The 78-year-old former Tory minister, returned Reform UK politician, and TV star was found dead in her Dartmoor home yesterday. New York City. Yeah, New York City becomes first in the U.S. to ban deceptive subscription practices. Rule from Mandemi administration bans companies from trapping customers into paying recurring charges and junk fees. I can't believe that. How dare he do that? And I'm no fan of it. It's just funny watching people get losing it over the guy. This just in, Trump says the ceasefire is over. And you should already know that was the case. Let's go before we go on. Let's go into War Pigs. Generals singing in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Trump, Iran, U.S. continue talks. The ceasefire is over. Iran hits U.S. bases across the region after U.S. strikes. It's the weekend, so the market's not open. So if they bomb, baby, bomb. More explosions were reported in Iran. U.S. denies involvement. Iran calls U.S. strikes on railway bridges blatant war crimes, which they would be. IDF chief tells pilots to expect major Israeli operations against Iran. Israeli strike. Go ahead and get some gas today because it should be back up to $4 by Monday. Israeli strikes in Gaza kill 6 Palestinians. IDF accused of field execution. A Palestinian driver with Gaza aid. Israeli defense minister again rules out Lebanon withdraw. Kremlin, Ukraine's drone attacks will prolong the war. Oh, I mean, that thing was supposed to end 300 days ago. Douglas McGregor says, break-in, the White House are prepping for prolonged conflict with Iran. That was 2 days ago. Well, it's 12:15, so if we started this on Friday, people are like, Mark, you're still on Friday. I'm in Saturday now. Welcome to the future. Yesterday, Douglas says that. And as Ryan Christian says, remember, 3 days? 3 days to flatten the curve. From the ones who brought you.
Thank you. So I'm glad to see that you're practicing social distancing. That looks very nice. It's very good. I want to thank everybody for being here today. This morning, I spoke with the leaders of the G7 nations, and they really had a good meeting. I think it was a very, very productive meeting. I also spoke with our nation's governors. And this afternoon, we're announcing new guidelines for every American to follow over the next 15 days as we combat the virus. Each and every one of us has a critical role to play.
15 days to slow the spread. I still can't believe that, actually. Remember, if anybody thinks something nutty's going on, remember they shut down the entire world over the sniffles. People bought into it.
Journal. They've got a source telling them that Israel relayed to the U.S. intelligence about a new plot to assassinate President Trump. And frankly, it
Because
doesn't
remember, Israel has never lied before.
come as a surprise. The Iranians in particular have not been subtle about it. If you look at the banners that they displayed during the final day of the funeral for the late Grand Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in Mashhad, Iran, the banners read, "We will kill Trump." Comments from the mourners were, "By the blood of the martyred Ayatollah, we will kill Trump," and things of that nature.
By the way, they're talking about the U.S. government. They don't care about you or not. They're talking about the U.S. government, which if you were getting bombed by them too, I bet you would probably be saying that.
Now, a U.S. official says despite Iran violence.
This is not backing up Iran. This is just, hey, if you're getting bombed, that's probably what's going to happen.
Little birdie told me this about the fact that we'll give them the right to make patriots. We'll show them how to do it. It's very complex, actually, but it's you'll figure out the complexity quickly. And we're talking about that, and the company that makes them, which is building now 4 plants, all of our companies will be able to do this in 2 to 3 months. If you order a Patriot, now you have to wait a long time for them. Same thing with Tomahawks. We have a lot of certain equipment, but with they call it the elite equipment, and you don't need elite equipment necessarily for a war. But so one of the things we're going to be talking about is we're going to give a license to you to make Patriots. That's pretty cool, right? Larry. This way you can't complain that we're not giving them enough. It's say make them yourself.
Trump campaigning, I will end the Ukraine war on day 1. Trump on day 534. I will be teaching Ukraine how to build American missiles to attack the largest nuclear power on earth. Again, if anybody asks, why do we call this? I call this a clown planet. Many exhibit A's, B's, C's. I mean, stuff like this. That's why. Because how many of our guys is talking about that? Mark Levin says, take this building down. A new Iran regime terrorist banner threatening to kill President Trump at Hotel Mashhad, Iran. Ryan Christian, no matter of justification, if you're calling for the bombing of a civilian hotel full of Iranians because of opinions they've expressed, however insulting or threatening, you are an evil person. This may come as a shock, but when you murder their families, people get angry. Yes.
An American watching it play out, it certainly feels as though there's no sort of organized fashion of what's going on.
You said he's not talking to generals, that he's only talking to economic planners. I'm just asking how you know that. It just seems to be a wild assertion. I just wonder what evidence of that there is.
As a tax-paying American, I sit there and I watch this stuff play out within minutes after the markets close. I watch before markets open.
So no evidence. So here's what I think. I think we achieved a great military victory. The Iranian military is devastated. I disagree with Max. I don't think they're currently on the brink of building a nuclear weapon because they can't be because of the military victory that we have achieved.
I didn't say they were on the brink of building a nuclear
You
weapon.
say we haven't made any progress
I said we
on
have
it?
not eradicated their nuclear program. Like Trump
think
said,
it's
they
set
have
back-
1,000 pounds of highly
back-
enriched uranium. They still have it.
Yeah, and it's buried beneath a significant amount of rubble.
And then they can take it out of there when they want to.
Thanks to the United States military. So that's number one. Number two,
don't mischaracterize what I said.
After the military victory, they gave diplomacy a chance. And as the president said repeatedly, he always said, I would like to have a deal. I'm prepared for them to not behave, in which case they get nothing, and we have to go back to a military option, which is where we are today. Where it ends, I don't know. There hasn't been as much volatility in the oil market the last couple of days as some people might have projected, which is a good thing. But I do think it's true that they are not interested in rational outcomes here. And this whole threat to assassinate our president, just say one other thing, for all the people out there who've been crapping on our relationship with Israel and what we do with Israel and our alliance with Israel, they gave us intelligence to help us keep our president from being assassinated. That's a good thing.
Jennings is just, yeah. Here's Geopolitics and Empire says Netanyahu's son has legally changed his name to Jonathan Hun, according to Wednesday report by Haaretz, citing tax documents. Right? Nothing about anything else by his dad being a war criminal, but Zero Hedge, U.S. demands Iran state that Hormuz is open, AP citing officials. They retweeted it saying, market is closed for the week, war can resume. U.S. demands that Iran issue public statement that all channels are open for shipping. If we don't get that nuclear dust, we do not have a deal with Iran. Senior officials say, yeah, it's the weekend, so bomb away. Just in, the U.S. deploys 20 warships and 2 aircraft carriers towards Iran. That peace deal is done.
They want to make it. They want to make a deal. And they want to make a deal so badly. They want to make a deal so badly. I do see a deal in Iran. It's looking very good that we're going to make a deal. This process should go very quickly. We're going to end that war very quickly. We're in the final throes of what will be a very, very good deal. And they want to make the deal a lot more than I do. We have our deal done with Iran, and it should be successful. We're making an amazing deal with Iran. They want to make a deal with us very badly. They're dying to make a deal. They're giving us a lot. They want to make a deal so badly.
Jonah Goldberg.
They want to make.
I can't get it to stop. Okay, there it is. In music, the Rolling Stones is making their Roblox debut with a new experience celebrating the band's 6-decade career. Players can unlock rewards before an interactive concert finale arrives later this month. As Off Guardian says, sometimes you read something and you start praying for the meteor to come. Yeah, I told people I actually, I said, vote the meteor, and they get mad about it. Speaking of non-meteors, the Sanctifica app, rooted in tradition, built for today. Here's the promo code, or not code. Here's the QR code. Scan it, get it on your Apple or Google phones, Androids. Totally free app. Has a lot of cool stuff on it. Check it out. It's free, so might as well give it a shot. In any language, English speakers are turning into World Cup broadcast in Espanol, thanks to the excitement of Spanish commentaries.
We didn't even watch it 5-10 minutes before we immediately flipped it over to Telemundo. And while I can't really understand everything they're saying on Telemundo because they're speaking in Spanish, you understand what's going on. You just know by their commentators, they pick up their pace when things exciting start to happen.
I'll give it to her. Yeah, she was right. They are exciting to listen to. Kylian something is turning France into the World Cup irresistible force. With a 2-0 victory over Morocco, Les Bleus, whatever, reached the semifinals for the 3rd time in the row. Les Bleus. Okay, Les Bleus. Sorry. Foxborough, the French national team, has every reason to be frustrated. The most talented collection of players this year are struck in the heat in Foxborough, trying to find their way through Morocco. He's really French. This is hysterical.
Yeah, congratulations to Eli on number 3.
Now he's talking about Eli White, a player for the Braves. Eli White. Eli's the first name, White's the second name.
Trying to talk him into more kids already when we were in San Diego. I know him and his wife, they're just such great people. I said, we need more great people in this world. So the more whites, the better off we're going to be.
The more whites in the world, the better off we're going to be. Man, people got funny about that, but his last name is White. It's just funny. 10 this day in history. In 1040, Lady Godiva's legendary ride happened today. Telestar 1 launched in 1962, and John Calvin was born this day in 1509. The arch heretic, 2019 German automaker Volkswagen was introduced in 1938. 2015 Egyptian actor Omar Sharif died at the age of 83. 1991, Boris Yeltsin, former Russian politician, was sworn in office as the country's first elected president today in 1991. 1985, the Greenpeace ship Rainbow Warrior was sunk by 2 bomb explosions. 1973, the Bahamas gained independence from Britain within the Commonwealth. Any independence movement. We need more independence movements. We need the Carolinas independence movement. 1965, British rock band The Rolling Stones topped U.S. charts for the first time with I Can't Get No. 1962, I was hoping somebody else would say Satisfaction. 1962, Swedish engineer Niels Bohlin was issued a U.S. patent for a 3-point seatbelt for cars. 1952, the Constitution of Eritrea, prepared the United Nations in consultation with Emperor Haile, was adopted. 1925, the Scopes trial began in Dayton, Tennessee, with William Jennings arguing for the prosecution of Clarence Daru for the defense. 1890, Wyoming is admitted as the U.S. 44th state. A terrible idea that Wyoming did for entering the Union. Wyoming's constitution was the first in the world to grant full voting rights to women, as well as to allow them to hold public office. Wyoming also became the first state to elect women governor when Nellie Taylor Ross won the position in 1924. Because of these developments, Wyoming has been called the equality state. So again, before, you didn't need to have the Constitution, U.S. Constitution, which was an illegal. It was a government overtake, takeover of elections by having the women, the amendment to make women okay to vote. States were already doing it. And again, it's a state's right on that. 1875, Mary McLeod Bethune, African-American educator who was active in national black affairs and special advisor to President FDR, was born in Maysville, South Kakalaki. 1871, French novelist Marcel Provost was born. 1609, the Catholic League was formed by Maximilian I, Duke of Bavaria, and the Catholic powers in Germany. 1584, William I was assassinated, and 1553, Lady Jane Grey, the 15-year-old great-granddaughter of Henry VII, became Queen of England, but her reign lasted only 9 days, and she was executed by Mary Tudor the following year. Anyways, have a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy it wherever you are. Click like, subscribe, jazz, all that stuff. I'll have stuff together for the weekend. I'm getting the app updated as we speak, and just click and let it ride and just fix it up later. I'll be up till 3 in the morning tomorrow night doing that. If you know any parishes that you think would like the app, think about it this way: it's a great infiltration in a sense. We complain about things all the time. We pretty much talk to the choir every day online. I'm trying to get into other parishes, evangelize them, get their hearts set on fire, things like that. You know the sermons, where if you were able to get it to others, not just on YouTube. So if you know parishes that we can get the app in, we'll give a 3 to 6 months free app to any parish that wants to do it, no strings attached. Hey, I'm going up against Halo and Formed. Formed has the back in the Diocese of Denver, millions of dollars going to them. Halo, you know how many millions of dollars they got celebrity ads. You see the Sensus Fidelium app. This is the team working on the Sensus Fidelium app, and see my budget is 1/1,000,000th of whatever Halo and Formed has combined. So if we're trying, it's David versus Goliath. I need some help. I will give you guys half commission. You give me in some parishes. I'll give you half the commission or whatever it is. The first, whatever it is, to sign up for it on there. We'll talk. You just hit me up, steve@sensusfidelium.com. We get it in. We get more parishes involved. We get some good Catholic stuff in there. Not cheesy, solid sermons that people want, catechism courses, Bible studies, all that jazz. I know you help me help you, or help you help me, whatever you want to call it. God love you. Have a great rest of the weekend, and talk to you soon. See you on Monday for Black Pill Monday.